But Bobbi Brown had his suspicions.
It's not a mystery to me. The same thing that happened to my daughter is what happened to Whitney. There's only one person that was around both occasions.
You won't say his name. Nick Gordon is who you're referring to.
I won't say his name. He knows what happened. I don't know what happened that night, but he does.
Bombshell allegation in the deaths of Whitney Houston and her daughter, Bobbi Kristina. This is what we know. Bobbi Brown is blaming both deaths on Nick Gordon.
Bobbi Kristina Brown's death has remained one of the most mysterious and heartbreaking tragedies in Hollywood. Even years later, there's still no clear answer as to whether her death was accidental or intentional, with the official reports frustratingly listing the cause as undetermined. But that might be about to change. However, new revelations from her autopsy are sending shockwaves through the industry. And now, her father, Bobbi Brown, is finally speaking up, dropping bombshell details about what really went down in the lives of his daughter and ex-wife, Whitney Houston. And what he had to say was shocking. With Bobbi finally breaking his silence, will we finally learn the real story behind Bobbi Kristina and Whitney's tragic deaths? Were they victims of something bigger than anyone ever realized? And most importantly, who's been keeping the truth hidden all these years?
I was the only one there with both situations, with my ex-wife and with my daughter, and they both died the same way.
Bobbi Kristina Brown's death is still one of the most suspicious and unsettling tragedies in Hollywood. And let's be real, her life was far from normal from the very start. Growing up as Whitney Houston's only daughter, Kristina lived in the constant shadow of fame, pressure, and family turmoil. She was just 14 years old when her parents' toxic marriage ended in a messy divorce. And from that point on, things spiraled out of control. She later admitted to experimenting with illegal substances at the same age, and by the time she turned 18, both she and Whitney had already been to rehab 3 times. The parallels between their struggles were uncanny, and sadly, so were the circumstances surrounding their deaths. Bobbi Kristina Brown's early years were anything but normal, and when you take a closer look, it's no surprise her life took a tragic turn. From the moment she was born, Chrissy was thrust into a world of chaos, all thanks to her famous parents, Whitney Houston and Bobbi Brown. Now, before we get into the shocking details about her passing, let's rewind to where it all began, because this story is way deeper than people realize. Bobbi Kristina was born in 1993 after Whitney suffered multiple miscarriages. And when I say multiple, I mean several heartbreaking losses, including one that happened while she was filming The Bodyguard in a sit-down with Barbara Walters. Whitney later described that experience as soul-wrenching. So when Chrissy finally arrived, she was seen as a miracle baby. But here's the thing, her birth changed everything. Whitney's career was at its absolute peak, and Bobbi Brown, well, his wasn't. That did not sit well with him. Whitney later revealed that Bobbi's insecurities and frustrations boiled over, to the point where he would lash out at her, even going as far as spitting in her face during arguments. And let's be real, you cannot shield a child from that kind of dysfunction. Whitney tried to protect Chrissy, but she saw enough to know her parents' relationship was far from perfect. Now, we all know that Whitney and Bobbi both battled addiction, but what a lot of people don't realize is that were literally in their household, just lying around. Can you imagine growing up in an environment where that was just a normal Tuesday? To make things worse, Bobbi's run-ins with the law kept piling up. One of the most infamous moments was when he got sentenced to 90 days in jail for failing to pay $63,000 in child support to his ex, Kim Ward. And guess who swooped in to save him? Whitney. As usual, she paid off the debt, and Bobbi was out after just 1 day behind bars. As if the dysfunction at home wasn't enough, Chrissy was also constantly criticized by the public. People were always body shaming her, telling her she needed to lose weight. And by the time she was older, she was posting shockingly thin photos, leaving fans deeply concerned. But instead of getting the help she needed, she was pushed into reality TV. At just 12 years old, she starred in Being Bobbi Brown, a reality show that basically put all of the family's dirty laundry on display for the world to see. And let's just say it was was a disaster. The show lasted only 11 episodes before the Browns pulled the plug, but the damage was already done. Chrissy's personal life was now a public spectacle, and it only added to the pressure she was already under. And let's not forget, Whitney was grooming her to be the next superstar, pulling her on stage to sing with her, just like Whitney's mother did to her. It was a lot, and sadly, it was only the beginning of her tragic story. Bobbi Kristina's life was already a roller coaster growing up, but between 2005 and 2012, things got even messier. She made several TV appearances and even landed a role in Tyler Perry's sitcom For Better or Worse. But let's be real, the title of that show, it was way too fitting for her reality, because life for Chrissy, it only got worse. By 2007, after years of a toxic marriage filled with and endless cheating rumors, Whitney had finally had enough. She pulled the plug on her marriage to Bobbi Brown and went all in to take full custody of Chrissy, moving them both to Los Angeles for a fresh start. But here's where things take a turn. According to Bobbi's own book, Bobbi Brown, The Truth, the Whole Truth, and Nothing But the Truth, their marriage was doomed from the start. He flat out admitted that Whitney married him to clean up her public image after rumors swirled about her alleged relationship with her assistant and maid of honor, Robin Crawford. Bobbi wrote, "I think we got married for all the wrong reasons. Whitney had a different agenda than I did. I believe her agenda was to clean up her image, while mine was to be loved and have children. The media was accusing her of having a bisexual relationship with her assistant. In Whitney's situation, the only solution was to get married and have kids. It was a lot, and sadly, it was only the beginning of her tragic story." Bobbi Kristina's life was already a roller coaster growing up, but between 2005 and 2012, things got even messier. She made several TV appearances and even landed a role in Tyler Perry's sitcom For Better or Worse. But let's be real, the title of that show? It was way too fitting for her reality, because life for Chrissy, it only got worse. Whew! Now that's a bombshell. And let's not forget Whitney's 2009 interview with Oprah, where she did not hold back about how she knew her marriage was crumbling.
Whitney's 16-year-old beautiful daughter, Bobbi Kristina. How proud are you of your mother?
Honestly, words can't explain how proud I am of her. Really. I've been there with her, through everything, and whole divorce and talking, whatever. But, I stay by her side. That's like my best friend, that's like my sister,
Best friend.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy, but she never let go of my hand. And I never let go of hers. And the beautiful part about it is that she and I got to know each other and trust each other.
Now you'd think that after Bobbi was out of the picture, things would finally get better for Chrissy, right? Wrong. In fact, it only made things worse, because Chrissy blamed Whitney for breaking up their family. Reports say their relationship became toxic, full of explosive arguments. But the most shocking part? There were rumors that one of their fights got so intense, Chrissy allegedly pulled a knife on her own mother. Some sources even claimed that after nearly attacking Whitney, Chrissy turned the knife on herself and cut her wrist. But this wasn't just a mother-daughter fight. This was something deeper. See, Chrissy wasn't just Whitney's daughter. She was also her best friend and caretaker. While Whitney was struggling with addiction, Chrissy felt like she had to step in and take care of her. It was a lot for anyone to handle, let alone a teenager. A family insider once said she was her friend, her confidant, and her caretaker. They fought, but they loved each other deeply. And Whitney? She confirmed it herself in an interview with Oprah, saying they were each other's everything, despite the chaos. But here's where it gets chilling, because Whitney's passing was only the beginning of Bobbi Kristina's own tragic downfall. Fast forward to January 2014. Chrissy made a post that hinted she and boyfriend Nick had tied the knot. However, Bobbi Brown's lawyer issued a statement clarifying that no formal marriage had taken place between them. Many people speculated that Nick was only trying to marry Chrissy to continue the lavish lifestyle he had enjoyed while Whitney was alive, especially since Chrissy was the sole beneficiary of her mother's estate, which was worth $115 million.
Gordon was rumored to be Whitney's adopted son.
But after Whitney's death, the couple claimed they were much more.
I'm married, and we're fine. We're really very happy.
There have been no legal documents to prove that the couple ever married.
Rumors also circulated in the media that Nick was upset over not being included in Whitney's will, despite having been like a son to her. As their relationship progressed, it became increasingly volatile, resembling the toxic environment Chrissy had grown up with between her parents. To make matters worse, both Chrissy and Nick's use escalated. At the time, it was reported that all of Chrissy's friends urged her to leave Nick, with many claiming she was making moves to do so. She was also reportedly working on mending her relationship with her father. Whitney's death had a profound effect on Kristina, and it seemed she never truly recovered from it. On one occasion, she told Oprah in an interview, "I can hear her voice and her spirit talking to me and telling me to keep moving, baby. I can also feel her with me. She humbles me. I remember what she told me. I remember what she taught me. She was a sister, a comforter. The spirit that she had, no matter where she was, she touched everyone." People began noticing signs that there were problems in Chrissy and Nick's relationship when a photo of Chrissy went viral in 2014, showing her looking extremely thin. However, Nick claimed that was how Chrissy wanted to look and that he was going to support her. Chrissy even backed up Nick by tweeting, "I am my mother's child. Have you ever heard of a fast metabolism? Lol, it's incredible how the world will judge you for anything and everything." And indeed, Kristina was her mother's child, because in 2015, Kristina was also found face down in the bathtub by Nick. She was rushed to the hospital and placed in an induced coma to prevent her brain from swelling, but it later became clear to doctors that Kristina's brain was dead. After 6 months in a coma, Kristina passed away from lobar pneumonia at the age of 22. The autopsy report also revealed that Kristina had many scars and missing teeth, which wasn't so surprising because right before Chrissy's demise, she made a couple of posts on Twitter that suggested Nick was putting his hands on her. Soon after, Chrissy began saying things like, "On my own." That was all people needed to know. Things had come to an end between the two. But after Kristina's demise, Bobbi Brown literally lost it. In an interview, he cryptically mentioned who he felt was behind Whitney and Kristina's deaths. As for Nick Gordon, there were reports of him using Kristina's card to withdraw money, which brought him under a lot of scrutiny. However, Nick passed away in 2020 as a result of an accidental overdose. But that's not all for Bobbi Brown. He also lost his 28-year-old son, Bobby Jr., to an overdose of illegal substances. Despite all this, fans were glad to see that after everything Bobbi Brown went through, he still came out on top. He married Alicia Etheridge in 2012 and had 3 children with her. However, Kristina never attended the wedding because she said she wasn't ready for her father to move on with another woman yet. But she added that no matter what, she was always going to love her father, Bobbi Brown. Now Kristina's death was truly tragic, and to this day, many people still believe Whitney and Kristina's demise were the result of a ritual. But I want to know what you all think about those theories. What do you all think about this shocking situation? Do you believe Chrissy's death was no accident? Let me know your opinions in the comments. Till next time, bye.